Hi everyone, welcome to Chapter 5 Part 2. In Chapter 5 Part 2 we're going to discuss binomial probability distributions. The book does a great job of defining what a binomial distribution is. Basically, it's a procedure that has a fixed number of trials. The trials must all be independent of each other. Each trial must have all outcomes classified as either a positive or a negative. In other words, there's only two possibilities for each trial, hence the binomial. And the probability of success remains the same in all trials. A good example of this, and we're going to just jump right into the examples, is we're going to do problem 41 in the text for that section, for the binomial probability distribution section. In that problem, we have a situation where a company receives a large shipment of aspirin tablets and uses this plan in that they randomly select 40 tablets out of the shipment, and if either 1 or 0 have defects, they will accept the shipment. And if there are more than 1, they will reject it. And there's a 3% rate of defects. The question is, what is the probability that the whole shipment will be accepted? And then will almost all shipments be accepted, or will many be rejected? So that meets the definition of binomial probability distribution that we just discussed. Let's go through that again briefly. Has a fixed number of trials, 40. The trials must be independent, so each aspirin's probability of defect, 0.03% or 3%, or 0.03 when you're entering it into Excel, is the same. So the probability of failure is the same. So that meets requirement 4. The trials are all independent, and in each trial must have only two outcomes. Either it's defective or it's not. So the question is, how do we solve that problem, 41? We're going to use Excel as usual. And once again, I'm going to go to Chapter 5, Part 2. It's question 41. And the way we're going to do it is we have a function. And there's a couple different ways to access the function. We're going to go with the most basic. And one of the nice things with Excel is it'll tell you what needs to be there. So under binomial distribution, first we have the number. So if there's 1 or fewer, so the number is 1. The number of trials, 40 trials. The probability, 0.03. And the last one can be a little confusing, and I'll explain it, is if it's cumulative, then you enter a 1. If it's not cumulative, you enter a 0. So in this case, if it's 0 or 1 defects, we will accept. So it's cumulative. If they said, it wouldn't make sense in this example, but if there was 1 defect, we will accept, and either 0 or 2 we would not. Once again, that doesn't make sense, but if that was what the problem was, we would put a 0 in this last slot. But since it's cumulative, we're going to put a 1, close parentheses, enter. The answer, 0.6615. So what we essentially have here is a situation that we are going to accept the shipment 66% of the time. All right, that was Chapter 5, Part 2. We're going to have another section here to Chapter 5, and we'll talk to you then.